My name's Aaron, welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and doing really well. And today I'm reviewing Allure Homme Eau de Toilette. This is £61 for 50ml, £85 for 100ml, and if you really love it, it's £103 for 150ml. The description is a fresh and spicy woody fragrance. Its harmonious and balanced notes evolve a charismatic and determined man. Notes of bergamot, vetiver, tonka bean, black pepper. Nice. Do we have our bottles of Chanel? Are we engaged with our higher self? Let's get testing. So the box is fantastic. I really wouldn't expect anything less from Chanel, to be honest with you. I think they would be dead of things done correctly. So how I go into these reviews with houses that do things their way is sort of slightly different. And I know with a Chanel fragrance what to expect. I sort of know it's going to be light and airy. So I sort of always bear that in mind, that it's going to be what it's going to be. And an interesting thought I had the other day, which is when people buy a fragrance that they like, when they really invest into a house, what they're investing in is the perfumer's brain and how they perceive the art, which I think that's really interesting. I always think that's really interesting, that the way a perfumer will make something suits some people and not suits others. The first thing, because I always now wear a fragrance a little bit before I view it to give you the dry down and give you the projection sort of information. This, maybe because it's an eau de toilette, you have to overspray a little bit to get it to latch on. And that is the first thing. It's not a criticism. It's so light and airy that you need to saturate your skin a little bit and then you can enjoy it. This is Hedione top heavy. So fragrances, modern fragrances, are normally built on IC Super and Hedione. I really love the way this is built because it's Hedione and IC Super, and Hedione and IC Super gives more of a light, airy feel, which I personally really love. There's such a sweet nature to this, sweet, light, easy nature to this. This really, for me, feels like a signature fragrance or like a day off fragrance. It doesn't really feel like it's a going out and being debaucherous. It feels like it's a stay at home, go out, have coffee, wear it to work. It's just such an easy to wear fragrance. This smells like classic Chanel, and I can't really say anything more than that. And I think that you know exactly what you're going to get with this. Light, airy, aquatic, has an aquatic, ozonic note to it. I really love this. And I really love the way there is you'd call it a tonka bean feel, which is the coumarin. And coumarin, when it's not overly sweetened, gives a dry sweetness, which I really, really love. I think that's a beautiful feel, and you can push it in different directions. This is just, I would think, perfectly balanced. You have the lightness, you have the cleanness of the musk. So this is built upon what you classify as white musk. Things like galaxolide, ethylene brassylate, and there's a nitro musk to help to soften it off. But then you also have the tartness in it, which comes from raw materials like citronella, and then also the raw materials, the naturals in it can be quite bitter. So this is really, really well balanced. It kind of is sweet, and then it's got some tartness in, which is from pepper molecules, and pepper doesn't really give spiciness. It gives sort of hardness and a punch. Without the pepper, this would be too sweet. And so it's really well balanced. I just kind of love the fruity quality juxtaposed against that sort of tartness. I think it's just so well done. On to my final thoughts. In case you can't tell, I really love this. I think this is Chanel done really well. My only criticism is with this, and maybe because it's an eau de toilette, is that it doesn't latch onto your skin, and it doesn't have that. It's sort of drifting off now. And I know I've sort of got quite monstrous skin and like things quite heavy, but I personally, and this is going to be my only criticism, I would like it to be a little bit more vibrating off the skin for a little bit longer. It's light, breezy, and then you don't really get anything after a little bit. It just dries down to a really beautiful skin scent. That kind of is my only criticism on what I kind of think I'd love from this. If this was maybe if this was built like a perfume, I think I would love it massively. But that's actually is really inspiring for me. Personally, on my day off, what I like to wear is something that's very simple and very simplistic. And because if you're working with very heavy, juicy fragrances, which is what my sort of range is, actually on my day off, I like things light and airy, because I think there's something really lovely about light, airy cleanness to it. So kind of at weekends, I've got a few fragrances at home which don't smell like this but perform similarly to this, and they're just really delightful to have around. I kind of really love it. So I'll go through my marks with you. The first 2 marks are for, is it safe, is it legal, is it sticking to sort of rules and regulations? Absolutely. Is it safe, legal and compliant? Fantastic. The next 2 marks are longevity and projection. This is where it sort of suffers for me. And I would love to see it, just the intensity. I'd love to see it just a little bit more intense. So this gets a 1 out of 2 for that. It's a little bit too fleeting for my mind. Next 2 marks are the price. I think this is amazing for the price. I think you've got a really beautiful selection of naturals. And then you've got sort of just some really lovely up-to-date aroma chemicals. So this, I think, is like dead on the price. The next 4 marks are whether I love it. I love this. I think it's fantastic. And I'm going to judge it, 1, if I like it, and 2, again, as a Chanel fragrance, holding that sort of thing. And I love it. I love it because it's so light, airy, clean smelling. I think it's beautiful, actually. And I think in this aspect, I'm going to mark it a 9 out of 10. And the 1 mark that comes off just purely because it's these sort of the performance is a little bit poor. I'd love to see this, as I keep saying, maybe if the concentration was stronger, or maybe if it had some fixatives in, that would help to latch it onto the skin. But I kind of love the sweetness. I love it all, but that's the only bit that I sort of, a little bit of a criticism for. I'd love to see it because I enjoy it so much when it first goes on, and now it's just sort of pretty much gone. So there you go. Hope you love that review. Thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating, interesting content. Lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance reviews. Hope you're staying safe and well, and I'll see you soon.